Alright, let's try not to die during this video. G'day guys, and welcome back to another One Piece Talking Head video. Today we're going to be talking about EB01, the first extra booster for the One Piece TCG. It's dropping in couple weeks now, probably when we're going to be seeing this video. And in the video today, we're going to be talking about kind of what leaders are still meta relevant, what are good, what decks or leaders to pick up that get a bit of a boost, and then what you'll need to pick up to be ready to play some of the new leaders that are coming out of the extra booster. Now, if you do find anything helpful in this video today, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, support us that way. And if you have any thoughts or extra input, please leave them down in the comment section below. We love hearing your guys' thoughts. All right, let's jump over to here. So these are the three big leaders that are going to stick around going into EB01. So your Katakuri, your Sakazuki, your Gecko Moria, they're not going anywhere. They're still going to be on top, and they don't really change at all in terms of their builds with the stuff from EB01. So if you've got any of these leaders and you've been enjoying them, happy days. You don't have to do too much different there. If you're not liking them, sorry, sad days. You have to put up with them for another couple of weeks until OP07 rolls around. Now I know over in the West here we have been seeing Reiju top a fair few events recently, and there is a reason why Reiju is not on these top three, which is one of the decks that actually gets a buff going into EB01, which is hard for Reiju. Now, speaking of the decks that get a buff, let's look at them. As we can see, we've got the Saturday 10 Law, which is Reiju's worst matchup, which is why Reiju's not on that list before, and then the Green Film Uta, that one also gets some nice buffs. Things like Hanal also get some nice buffs as well. There's a few different yellow cards and a couple other green cards that fit well with some other decks there that do boost them. But these are the main two benefactory decks. Is that a word? Benefactors? Benefactors? Is that it? The two decks that get the most help out of EB01. Being your Law and your Uta. So their builds, they don't change too much from what you're kind of seeing floating around now, but there's some good cards coming out of it that just boost the strength there. So we won't go over kind of lists there. We'll leave a link in the description down below to One Piece top decks where you can go check out the topping lists for EB01, and you got plenty of examples for these guys in that there. But the main reason why we're here is to talk about the new leaders, what you're going to need to pick up in order to play the new leaders. Now, we've got only three leaders coming out of EB01. We've got Odin, we've got Hanal, and we've got Kyros. Now, out of these three lists, only Odin saw some tops in the reported Japanese format stuff that I could find, at least the stuff that's found on One Piece top decks. So we'll look at some of the example lists of those, and then I've scoured the internet to try to find some reasonable list for the other two. We can give you guys some example deck lists as well of the other two. But let's start here with Odin. I don't know why I'm bringing up this little box. It's easier to read than the bigger one. But Odin is a red-green leader, 5,000 power. Starts you with 4 life. The effect is all of your Land of Wano type character cards without a counter have 1,000 counter according to the rules, which is nice. So you can run a nice big Land of Wano package. There's some good ones in the Land of Wano package that don't have counter, which make them just even better in this deck, which is nice. And then the other part of the effect is Don ×1. When attacking, if you have a Land of Wano type character with a cost of 5 or more, this leader gains 1,000 power until the start of your next turn. And so it's pretty easy to kind of get those effects going off right there. So the main things you definitely want to pick up is all kind of Land of Wano stuff. But let's take a look at some of the winning examples before we go on to the other leaders. So we've got 4 examples that we'll quickly kind of roll through here for you. This is the second place. We'll look at the first place list from the same tournament in just a moment. But we've got the Odin here. So your Land of Wano stuff here. You got your Otama. Great 2k counter, reduces some stuff here. We've got your Yamato, your secret rare, which is a nice one. Not used in all the winning lists. It is a bit expensive, hard to find, but not used in all the lists, but is a nice one to have. You got your Denjuro from OP01, which is really good. Does gain that counter because we don't have a counter on Denjuro. And his effect allows you to restand some Don, so you got some extra Don available to you. Izo, just a great 2k counter. That's also a Land of Wano. Your Searcher, Land of Wano, Momo from OP01. You got your big boss monster in your OP02 Kazuki Odin, the one that lets you rest 3 Don to restand swing again, which is quite nice. And then on KO you can play a Land of Wano character, so you always can have some good board presence right there. You got your Cat Viper from OP02 here, blocker, which then also has counter from the effect. You got Yamato, which lets you rest something with a cost of 6 or less, which is actually really relevant in this meta. Also gains a counter, which is nice. And then you got a few new cards in here as well. In your Izo from your EB01, your Killer from your EB01, your Yamato from your EB01, and then your Hayori from your EB01. So play sets of all of those new ones go in here, and then your big boss monster in this version is your new gate. So it allows you to get that extra buff, so you can be an AK leader for a turn, which is insane. You get a few new gates off, you get a few of those effects off, you know, AK all the time, which is absolutely massive. Moving on to the next list, this is a first place 4-0, so a smaller tournament, but good to see some winning action here. So you got, once again, for your Land of Wano stuff, you got your Otama, you got your Momos, your Searcher, your Denjuro, 2 copies this time, your Izo, your Okiku, which is one we're not seeing in the last list, which does gain some counter from Odin's effect there. Allows you to rest some stuff there. OP01 card. Once again, you got your big Odin as your boss monster, and then we've got Hody Jones here as a rush character, which is just nice green card. And then you got your Ayuma, which gains counter because it is a Land of Wano, and you get to KO some rested stuff there as well. Now, the other kind of cards here, we're not running the Whitebeard, we're running more of a rush package here with your Zoro, your Luffy, and then your Rad Beam is for some nice defense there. But in terms of the new cards, basically the same things. We're running 4 Izo, 4 Kid, 4 Yamato, and then 4 Hayori in there. So a fairly similar list, a little bit of variation going on there. This one here is another first place one. Some fairly similar stuff here with your Otama, your Land of Wano stuff going on there. As you can see, all pretty much the same there. This time we're running Kid as the alternative boss monster here as well, 4 copies there. And we also got a Rosanate, which works well with Kid because you can play out from the Kid's effect, and then you can protect the Kid from KO effects with the Rosanate, which is quite nice. Otherwise, pretty much the same here in terms of that Land of Wano package side of things. And the last example, once again, we're not looking at too much deviation here. This one is also running the Kid. Reizo's one we're seeing here that is a nice form of draw power, which you're not seeing in the other decks there. We've got the Law in here as a new option here, 4 cost blocker, lets you bounce back and play some things back out. And then Rosanate as the alternative boss monster here as well, which lets you play a 5 cost character and protects 5 cost characters, which works well with your Law and your Denjuro right there. It will also protect the Izo and the Yamato here. You just can't play them out off that Rosanate's effect. Alright, next up, let's talk about Hannibal. This is a blue purple leader, 5,000 power, 4 life. The effect is, end of your turn you may return one of your Impal Down type characters with the cost of 2 or more to your hand, and then you can ramp it on from your Don deck, and it comes out as active, which is quite nice. So kind of classic purple, we like to ramp because purple likes to neg some stuff here, but Hannibal, a lot of the builds that I've been able to find out there in the internet there is all about ramping as quick as you can to get out your big boss monster, which is usually the Secret Rare Sanji from OP06, because then it lets you play out another big guy, which is quite handy. So you get there nice and quick, a lot quicker than your opponent. Now if we pop it over the screen here with there's a few different versions that I've discovered out there. So we've got one that kind of heavily plays into the Jailer Beast kind of archetype here. So your Sadie will let you play any of your Jailer Beasts here. Your Minnatopias, your new one from EB01. Otherwise, your Koala, Minotaur, and Zebra are your ones that already are out there. But you can play them out, you can bounce them back. You got the new one gives you the rush. You got the blocker, the double attack, the banish. So all those effects are quite nice. So you can build something to focus around there, and with the top end being Kaido as well as the Sanji. But the other version that I've seen out there, which looks to be a bit more viable, competitive than the other version, is one that leans a bit more into just the Impal Down kind of package stuff, and really relies on that ramping kind of stuff. I'll show you an example of that list here, but key stuff to pick up from the Impal Down side of things here is your Domino, your blocker. Works well with that 2 cost threshold to be able to bounce back. to ramping a Don there. You got your Ivankov, which allows you to play 2-cost characters out on play, which we'll see how strategy works really well with that. If you played a bunch of starter deck 12, you kind of will have an idea of what's going to go on there. You got your big Ivankov here, and which allows you to play out some more Impal Down kind of stuff going on there, which is nice. So you can play the Luffy from the same set there, OPO2. There's a couple other options which we'll talk about in a moment. You got your Mihawk as a boss monster right there, which bottom deck stuff, and then you got your Sanji, which then lets you play a character from the top of your deck. The Impal Down stage card is quite nice. You trash a card from your hand, rest the stage, look at the top 3, reveal 1 Impal Down card, and then you can place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So it's quite nice, this one. We'll show you how we can take really good advantage of this as we pop over to an example of a list for this leader right here. So here we go. We've got a Hannibal, and this one we want to really rely on knowing what we have coming up here. So we've got a fair few cards that help us know what we're going to draw into what the top cards of our deck are, which plays well into the Sanji, the big secret rare which we've spoken about, as well as the Ivankov from starter deck 12. So I think cards that help us do that is the Duval, which is a 2-cost blocker on play. Look at the top 3, rearrange them in any order, put them on top of the bottom. Can be played out of the Ivankov's effect. Unfortunately, can't be bounced back with the Hannibal because it is not an Impel Down. The other one that helps you with that rearranging is your Perona, a 1-cost one which looks at the top 5 instead of the top 3. You've got your Doflamingo, which does the same thing with your top 5, is also a blocker. And you've got your X-Drake doing the same thing here as well. So full play sets of all of those, helping you know what is coming up, works really well with your Ivankov and your Sanji. Now, in terms of other cards we've got going on here, so we've got Prince is a new one from EB01, is a 2-cost, which works well with the Ivankov, is an Impel Down as well, so can be used off your leader's ability as well to bounce back. So you can play the 2k counter out, bounce it back to be able to ramp it on and still have the 2k counter in hand. Your Pudding is just a one mainly in here because it's a 2-cost character which you can play off your Ivankov. The effect of this one is you can just bounce it back to your hand as well. So just nice to be able to get extra 2k counter in your hand. So you're getting a few draws off your starter deck Ivankov right there. And the other new one that we have from EB01 is your Inazuma, which is kind of your main target to play off the big Ivankov, the one that lets you play out another Impel Down type of card here. And this one basically just lets you get some good draw power, but you get a nice big body out on the board. This one you can maybe run the Luffy here instead to be a bit more aggressive, but you got your big boys with your Mihawk and your Sanjis, which can really help in terms of that aggression. If you know good ball control, you're getting establishing 2 big bodies, sometimes 3 big bodies of one lot of Donyu. So you play your Sanji, and you can then play your Ivankov into your Inazuma or your other Ivankov, which is absolutely just wild to be able to pull off that combo right there. And then us knowing exactly what's coming up, that's what makes a stage card really good in this situation. But that's an example of a list you can run. We haven't done a lot of play testing with this sort of stuff, so once EB01 releases, we'll have an updated version of this for you guys as well. All right, let's move over to the very last leader that's new for us, which is Kyros. So this is a black-purple leader, same stats as all the others, 5,000 power, 4 life. The effect here is activate main once per turn. You may turn 1 card from the top of your life face up, and you can KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0. Off the bat, doesn't sound super great, but black has access to really good cost reduction stuff. So that's the main thing you want to kind of build up in this deck, is just getting a lot of cost reduction so you can use your leader's ability. It's free. It doesn't have, your leader doesn't have to be active for it either, which is nice. It just has to be able to flip a life card face up. If your life card's already face up, you can't KO, but there's a few cards that help us flip face down or pick that card up and replace it with something else. Yeah, just having a look at some good cards to probably pick up in terms of running a Kyros. Your Suru, cost reduction. Your one-leg toy soldier, cost reduction. Your Shirahoshi. So this is one we don't usually see a lot of play of. It's from starter deck 8. It's a blocker, but also gives cost reduction on play, -4, which is nice. You got your Hina, which we all know about thanks to Sakazuki and Gekko Moria. Minus in cost there, your Kuzan, another great example of cost minusing going on here. And then your Ice Age, another great example. Great Eruption is also another great example, which we don't have on this page. But yeah, great options to run. And then some good black cards. to go alongside those is your Rebecca, which helps you recycle some of those cost reduction cards, helps you play out some of those cost reduction cards. Same thing with your Gecko Moria, lets you play out a few of those cost reduction stuff so we can use our leader's ability. Your Hayori's absolutely insane in this deck because you can pick up that face up card from your life, replace it with something face down, and you get to KO some stuff, which is really nice. Now let's take a look at a build of this right here. Now this build is basically a build from Vivv Theory. So if you haven't seen his channel, we'll leave a link in the description down below, specifically to the video where he talks about this. So if you do go check him out from this video, make sure we say hi. But this is kind of the build, a little tweak to his build there, but this is basically what he was running, which looked pretty good, quite successful. Once again, similar to the Hanal, we haven't done a lot of testing ourselves. So once EB01 drops, we'll have an updated version for you from our kind of play style here. But we're running 4 Suros for your cost reduction, your 4 Toy Soldiers for your cost reduction, your 4 Shirahoshis for your 4 Hinas for your cost reduction, and then your 4 Ice Age for your cost reduction. Also running a couple of the Secret Ray Kuzan, which helps with cost reduction as well, is also a KO, which is quite handy. Now your Viola, also a really good card in this deck, because if we read the effects here, you get one of two things. Outside of being a blocker, which is really nice, you're on play, you can look at all of your opponent's life cards and place them back in their life area in any order. Insane already. The other part is you can turn all your life cards face down, which reactivates your leader's ability, so you can KO. The rest of this top row we've kind of spoken about. Yeah, really good ones here. Your Kikunojo, just a great trigger card, can also help you recover, which is really nice if it is KO'd. So yeah, great card to run. Your Momo's a good one here to run this as well, because it lets you recycle your Hayori, so you can use that ability over and over again. Also can help you recycle your Kikunojo as well. The Shanks from Stardeck 13 is a good, interesting one here for this. So it costs you 7,000 body, no counter on play. You can turn up to one of your face-up life cards face down. So you can turn that one down that's your leader use, so that you can then use your leader's ability that next turn or this turn if you haven't used it already. And then your Yamato is a nice one as well, because it lets you get some good KO, get some good recovery, and we have a bunch of cost reduction available to us there as well. So Yamato can KO a lot more in some situations as well. And that's our little look into EB01. Once again, we've got some links into all those places we spoke about down in the description for you guys there, so go check that out. Once again, thank you so much for checking out today's video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.